Welcome to another lecture from Learn with Less. Today, as part of research and publication ethics, we are moving to the next topic, which is ethical decision making. So how to make a decision ethically. This is what the whole presentation is all about. So first of all, what is ethics? Ethics provides a set of standards for behavior that help us decide what we should do in a particular situation, whether it is a right act to do or it is a wrong act. So how important is ethics in today's society? It is gaining more relevance because ethics is what, after all, a person should hold on to. It is the integrity that the person should hold on to. Now, ethics basically is classified into three forms, which is meta-ethics, normative ethics, and applied ethics. First is meta-ethics. What does meta-ethics say? Meta-ethics says it deals with the nature of right or good, nature and justification of ethical claims. So, it is the nature of right or good, it is the nature and justification of ethical claims. It is concerned with the meaning of ethical judgments and prescriptions and with the notion of which properties, if any, are responsible for truth or validity thereof. Which means it is actually talking about the nature of truth, nature of right or good. The meaning of ethical judgments and prescriptions. Okay. So it is asking these set of questions. Is it an objective thing? Or is it just a bunch of cultural conventions? How can we tell what is good from what is bad? Is it a preference? What is morality? Is it an opinion? What is its nature? What is goodness? All these questions are being answered by metaethics. Okay, so basically what is objective, subjective, what is good, what is bad, what is its exact nature? All these principles are there in metaethics. Normative ethics. Normative ethics is dealing with the standards and principles which are used to determine whether something is right or wrong. See, it is actually questioning whether the good or bad of an action. Let's take the example. Is it is it wrong to kill one person to save many lives? So for example, a terrorist is trying to attack many civilians. So the police is asking, it was not right to kill that particular terrorist in order to save many lives. So this is what normative ethics talks about. So at times, basic ethics will have to be violated in order to ensure a bigger good. So it is putting some standards and principles to ensure that or to determine whether something is right or good. But meta-ethics C, the lady answers that it is wrong to kill. So killing itself is wrong as per meta-ethics, whether it is to one person in order to save many lives or not. Meta-ethics dig into the morality of ethical claims. So it's like a principle as such, or it's like exactly it is telling it is wrong to kill. Whereas normative ethics do check into the circumstances so that it gives you some kind of standards and principles so that this ethics will itself will have to be evaluated or it has to be adjusted according to the circumstances. Okay. Then we move to applied ethics. Applied ethics talks about the actual application of ethical principles to a particular situation, to a practical situation. So here this man is asking, okay, we are going to take these documents or evaluate these documents. So where shall we start with our negotiations? With your or my ethics? So at these times and all, ethics is of lot of importance. Negotiations between countries, negotiations when a prisoner is being taken on, like that. Okay. In ethic land, of course, you should report that situation. It's absolutely the right and ethical thing to do. Besides, once you do so, everyone will have to be extra nice to you so they don't get accused of retaliation. I mean, you could actually be popular. Wow. So this ethic land is telling that you have to report. If you have to report certain things, it has to be reported as exactly because ethics will be protected. And once ethics is protected, always remember that you will be feeling really good in your heart. Your conscience will always be happy. Now, six ethical values that are pointed out. First is trustworthiness. Second is respect, then responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. These are the six ethical values, core ethical values that are being talked about. Then, all decisions must take into account and reflect a concern for the interest and well-being of all affected individuals. Ethical values and principles always take precedence over non-ethical values or non-ethical ones. It's ethically proper to violate an ethical principle only when it is clearly necessary to advance another true ethical principle, which according to the decision maker's conscience will produce the greatest balance of good in the long run. So they say it is always okay to violate an ethical principle. But when it is to advance another true ethical principle, like in the case we said in case of normative ethics, the example where you can kill a terrorist in order to save the lives of thousands of civilians, that time actually you are violating the ethical principle that you should not kill in order to advance another true ethical principle, which is to protect or save the lives of many. So that has to be done according to the decision maker's conscience. So that will produce greatest balance of good in the long run. Okay, we move to ethical decision making process. It is a process of evaluating and choosing among alternatives in a manner consistent with ethical principles. You are truly evaluating or choosing various options. Making ethical decisions is necessary to perceive and eliminate unethical options, select the best ethical alternative. So it's a process. You have to decide between the various alternatives available in a manner that is consistent with ethical principles. You have ethical principles in your hand. Now you are trying to choose between these alternatives. What is the process of making ethical decisions? Okay. The first is commitment. That is the desire to do the right thing regardless of the cost. You are committed to do it. Do the right thing. Without considering the cost itself, you have to do the right thing. So you are not concerned about any cost that is involved. Then comes consciousness. That is the awareness to act consistently and apply moral convictions to daily behavior. Your consciousness, you have to ensure that you are acting consistently and you're applying moral conventions to daily behavior. You're conscious that your behavior would be the same. There is no difference in your inner self and outer self. Then comes competency, which will be the ability or the skill to collect and evaluate information, develop alternatives, foresee potential consequences and risk. Okay. Now, what is the process of ethical decision making? The process says you have to collect the facts of the case. That's the first thing, the facts. Then, so the first thing is the facts. Then comes you have to ascertain the personal beliefs regarding the matter, because after all in ethics, your consciousness is really important. It is going to play. So here you have the angel, you have the Satan, and there is you, which is divided into exactly two equal halves. Here at this particular point, you have to decide based on your personal beliefs what is right, what is wrong. So ascertain the personal beliefs. Okay, refer to code of ethics regarding the profession. Okay, and acknowledge the moral concerns of the community as a whole. So you have to check into three aspects. Okay, the first aspect that you have to check into is the personal beliefs. The personal beliefs. Second, you have to check into code of ethics if it is related to a profession. And then also you have to check into the concerns of the society as a whole. So after collecting the facts, you have to check into your personal beliefs, second the code of ethics, professional code of ethics, and then the moral concerns of the community. This way only you can go for ethical decision making. Okay. Ethical decisions. Ethical decisions. First, in ethical decisions, stop and think. Okay. Why you should stop and think? Because it helps you to prevent rash decisions, prepare us for a more thoughtful discernment, and allow us to mobilize our discipline. All this is possible. So you have to stop properly and then think and take a decision. Okay, then comes clarification of goals. You have to clarify your short-term and long-term aims clearly. You have to determine which of your many wants and don't wants affected by the decision are the most important. Okay. The big danger is the decisions that fulfill immediate wants and needs can prevent the achievement of more important life goals. So you have to clearly say what is your short-term aim, what is your long-term aim. Okay. Which of your many wants and don't wants will be affected by the decision. So that also you have to clearly decide. And sometimes certain decisions that fulfill your immediate wants will not help you to achieve your long-term goals. Okay. Then comes determining the facts. Okay, be sure you have adequate information to support an intelligent choice. You have enough information or data. To determine these facts, first resolve what you know, then what you need to know. Okay, be prepared for additional information and to verify the assumptions and other uncertain information. Okay, so determining the facts, you have to prepare for additional information. You have to be prepared for additional information along with the facts you have already collected. You have to verify the assumptions. You have to determine other uncertain information. Then only a proper choice, intelligent decision can be taken. Then comes developing options. Okay. Once you know what you want to achieve and you have made your best judgment as to the relevant facts, you have to make a list of actions you can take to accomplish that particular goal. So if it's an especially important decision, talk to someone you trust. So you can broaden your perspective, think of new choices.
If you can think of only one or two choices, you're probably not thinking hard enough. Okay, so stop and think. That's the first thing. Clarification of goals. That's the second thing. You have to determine the facts, which is the third thing, and develop options, which is basically you're creating a choice. Think of new choices. Okay. And if you can think of only one or two choices, you're probably not thinking hard enough. You have to develop as many alternatives as possible so that your decisions are accurate. Okay. Now you will need to consider the consequences. Now you have your choices, you filter your choices. Okay. So, and if any of your options violate the core ethical principle, eliminate them. Eliminate any unethical option. Identify who will be affected by the decision, how the decision is likely to affect them. Okay. So every decision you have to check into the consequences of that particular decision. Choose, which is make a decision. Then monitor and modify. That is ethical decision makers. They monitor the effect of their choices. If they are not producing the intended results or are causing additional unintended and undesirable results, they reassess the situation and make new decisions. So consider the consequences. Then you have to make a decision, that is choose, monitor and modify. Monitor and modify is where you are monitoring the effect of the choices. If they are not producing intended results, they are causing additional unintended, undesirable results, means reassess that particular situation, make new decision. Okay. Now we will move to certain terms like ethical dilemma, moral judgment, etc. Ethical dilemma. Ethical dilemma is a situation in which someone must decide between two courses of action that may be equally valid. So it is a situation where you have got two courses of action which are equally valid. So you have to decide between these two which one to take. Okay. So here it is. Yep, that does sound like an ethical dilemma, Phil. But relax, it's only a problem if you have a conscience. Okay, that's just it. I think I do. So what will do? Don't worry, I won't tell us off. So don't think about it. Don't only if you have a conscience that issue is there. Ethical dilemma would occur. This is what this old man advises the young fellow. So I think I do have it. So the old man says, don't worry, I'm not going to tell us all. So you can do the unethical thing. This is what the old man promotes. Okay. Then comes this. What is good for the company is good for society. What is good for the company is good for society. So the less tax we pay, the better it is for society. So this is to the tax inspector, the CEO is telling that. What is he telling? What is good for the company is good for society. Okay. So it's good for the company to pay less tax. As less tax we pay, that will be better to the society. This way he is altering how or what ethically has to be done. So this is ethical dilemma. Then comes moral disagreement. Moral disagreement is a situation, it's a fact that everybody disagrees with others on at least one moral issue, probably many more also. Sometimes we are in a position where you're not sure whether it is right or wrong. So there is a group of people, they are pointing out things, they are upon a discussion of something, but everybody is disagreeing onto one or the other point. So there is always a place for suspicions and doubts about new issues. So in this case, we have an agreement in principle. The question is, do we all have the same principles? So everybody has got their own viewpoints, but do they agree upon these principles? That is the issue. Here, another example where they say your mother and I are separating because I want what's best for the country and your mother doesn't. So this is how he explains that situation. So moral disagreement is like a situation where one person, the other person who is involved in a discussion disagrees with each other. Ethical lapses. Ethical lapses occurs when someone decides or takes steps and clearly violate societies or organizations' ethical or legal standards. So your lapse is a situation where your violation is happening. You are violating a society's or organization's ethical or legal standards. Ethical lapse is a decision which is clearly wrong by all standards. Okay, run this by the legal department, but run super fast so that the ethics department doesn't see it. So this is an ethical lapse, a clear example. So in the legal department, you have to take it fast to the legal department. Never let it pass through the ethical department. Okay, so department should not see it, which means something fishy is there in that particular law or regulation. Get serious, John. We are talking business ethics, not ethics. So here again, lapses would be very high when you are moving into businesses. So that situation, you have to be very serious, John. We are talking about business ethics, not any other ethics. Then comes moral awareness. Moral awareness is recognizing the existence of ethical dilemma. There is a situation, and in that situation, you're confused. So, moral awareness will help you to actually come out of that this is a situation where there can be issues of ethics, or there can be a possibility of doing something unethical. So, that awareness itself is moral awareness. Moral awareness is the ability to detect and appreciate the ethical aspects of a decision that one must make. See here, example, that little girl is helping the granny to get out of the bus or to find a seat in the bus. So this is something in that particular situation that she decides that she has to maybe give a seat or help that Nani to get a seat, sit on that seat, like that. So this was her decision, and where she has that moral awareness to do it. Also, there is another example. I admit that I violated the law. However, you cannot blame me. It is my first year as CEO and I am not yet experienced at hiding all my legal violations. Okay, so this man genuinely says that, hey, this is my first year, so I'm not experienced how to cover up all the legal violations, how to hide all the laws and then come and speak to you. Okay, so that I'm admitting that I have actually violated the law. This is moral awareness. Your ability to detect and appreciate the good thing in that situation. Moral judgment. Okay, moral judgment is deciding what is right. If you found money in the street, would you keep it? Is a question. Of course not. I would spend it. So deciding what is right here. Actually, the right thing to do is if you find the money, you can actually check whether it belongs to somebody else and then take a decision. But that is not that all that is getting violated. Okay, so moral judgment, deciding what is right. Ethical behavior. Ethical behavior is taking action to do the right thing. Behavior, therefore, it is action is coming. You are taking an action so that the right thing is being done. There is just so far you can go with ethics, and then the real world kicks in. So he's telling that with ethical principles, this is what you have to apply. But when we come into the exact real situation, the reality, sometimes this is what is going to happen. Okay, so taking action to do the right thing is ethical behavior. Also here you have another cartoon. You need to come up with some corporate values, get online and steal some from a different company. So he says that in order to develop the ethical base for the company, you have to write some corporate values. You get some online, get that online, okay? And then what you can do is you can steal some from a different company. So this is what ethical behavior talks. So that's all with ethics. And if you have any doubts regarding any of the points in this, you can actually put it in the comment box and I'll be replying. Thank you.